I wonder if you can hear me. I'm not sure if the mic is on. Can you hear me? Let's try. All right. Good afternoon. This sunny Sunday. Just come to a comfortable seated position. I'm gonna stay here for a little while. Untuck your buttocks so your sit bones get really firmly grounded into your mat. And just close your eyes and start focus on your breathing. You can have your hands open towards the sky or closed on the top of your knees, depending on if you want to start with an external energy, the palms open, or more internalized start, palms closed. So today we're going to try something different. I haven't done this flow before, but I'll hope you are just joining me and following along. I'm going to do a chakra balancing flow, and my guesstimate is that it will take between 60 and 75 minutes. So I hope you can tag along for the entire time. We're going to work through 7 chakras to give our energy, our life force, our ki better conditions to free floating. Those 7 chakras are different points along the spine, and we're going to do poses that will help each one of them become more balanced. So when the life force can't flow free because the chakras somehow are blocked, this can cause several disturbances, both on the physical health, our mental health, and our emotional health. So sometimes to get into that chakra business and give them better conditions can be really, really helpful and really useful. And we're going to start in this seated pose, starting off with the root chakra, the bottom of the chakras. And I want you to start focusing on your breathing on the space between your genitals and your anus. So that is where the root chakra is located. And while doing that, visualize the flow of red energy. So this chakra is your foundational grounding energy chakra, and it connects you to the most basic survival needs. It's the needs of safety and security. And when blocked, we can have a tendency to feel insecure or acting in that kind of survival mode, not really considering much else than to survive. We will go through 6-ish poses in this root chakra. All of them, I like you to focus your breathing and bringing your breath all the way to the space between your genitals and your anus, and see if you can stay in this space of red energy, visualizing that. You can have your eyes open or your eyes closed. You're going to stay a little bit in each pose, but still flowing from one pose to another. So staying in each pose, you might want to close your eyes for a little bit. Inhaling deeply and exhaling completely, both with the inhalation and the exhalation. Make you do it through your nose. So if your eyes are closed, blink open your eyes and just come so your knees are pointing towards the sky. It's an A shape. I'm going to round our back, lying down on our back, still with that A shape of the legs. And bring your heels closer to your buttocks so you can slightly touch the heels with the tip of your fingers. Moving into bridge-like pose. Inhale your hips towards the sky. And maybe this is enough, or maybe you want to work your shoulders closer to each other and interlace your fingers underneath your bottom. Maybe you want to close your eyes for a few seconds in this bridge-like pose. Nice pose to increase blood circulation. Also a good pose to strengthen our buttocks. Remember to visualize the red energy, especially flowing in the area of your root chakra, the space between your genitals and your anus. Remember to bring your hips as far to the sky as possible, not hanging in the hips. Final inhale, really pushing the hips to the sky. And exhale, if your hands are interlaced, release them, and then curl your spine down on the exhale, vertebra for vertebra, into the mat. Now grab hold underneath your knees and just roll back and forth, massaging your spine a little bit, eventually coming in to bow pose, balancing on your buttocks. Maybe you want to extend your legs out, but if you tend to have pain in your lower back, it's better to have them bent. Inhale your arms forward and just look over your toes or close your eyes. Both pose. Still focusing on our root chakra. Make sure you don't tend to hang your upper body, push your chest forward and upwards. Final inhale, just extend your chest a little further. And exhale your legs down. Use your hand to just support your back to get in to that yogic squat. So feet are touching the outside of the long edge of the mat, pointing outwards. So clockwise 2 to 10, 10 to 2. And then bring your elbows on the inside of your knees. Bring your hands into Anjali Mudra in front of your heart space. And see if you can really bring your tailbone as far and as close to the mat as possible. Stretching the spine. Still focusing on our root chakra. Again, close your eyes if you feel like it. Also a very good pose to improve our digestive system. Final inhale, exhale your hands to your floor, bring your tailbone to the sky, and just wiggle your feet inward so they're hip distance apart, coming into a forward fold. Really see if you can give your spine some space between the vertebrae, extending your head towards the ground. Maybe you will touch your mat with your hands, or maybe they're just swaying in the air. Doesn't really matter. And make sure you also relax the top of the spine, the neck vertebrae. Just quickly inhale up to a half lift, straighten that back, making sure that the blood are coming a little bit away from the head again. And exhaling, hands down, and step your left leg back and bring your left knee to the ground, coming in to a low lunge. Just make sure that your front knee, the right knee, is bent in 90-degree angles, not coming over the ankle. Inhale your upper body towards the sky, hands towards the sky. Make sure to tip your tailbone, tip your pelvis a little forward, so you're not hanging in your pelvis, but really strengthening it. Pulling your chest upwards at the same time, making sure that you are as far forward as possible, bending in that right knee. Really nice stretch of the thigh and the groin. Still focusing on the root chakra, the flow of red energy in the bottom part of our spine, the space between the genitals and the anus. Our foundation energy. Final inhale, exhale your hands to the floor and just the inside of the right foot. Bring the left knee to the ground, just coming around in that ninja squat. So bringing your left toes towards the sky. Maybe your right heel can touch the mat, maybe not. Still bring the root chakra, really grounding it. Bring that tailbone towards the ground. And if you can balance here, you can bring your hands into Anjali Mudra in front of your heart space. A good way to help you balance is to find a spot approximately 1.5 meters in front of you And just focus on that spot. So this pose can be quite hard if you want to close your eyes. That will definitely challenge your balance. But if you want to try it, feel free to do it. Final inhale, exhale your hands to the floor, turn around again, bending that right knee and step your left foot back beside the right foot. Inhale, half lift, and exhale, forward fold. Just hang here for a second, flushing the body with new, fresh blood. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, forward fold. Final. Inhale, half lift. Exhale your hands to the floor and step the right leg back. Bring the right knee to the mat. And inhale your upper body upwards, hands towards the sky. Just make sure that your left knee is 90-degree angle. And if it feels more comfortable for your right knee, the one that's in the mat, that you tuck the right toes, feel free to do that, or you can also flatten them. Doesn't really have anything to say. Do what feels comfortable for your body. Again, make sure that you pull your tailbone upwards, pelvis slightly forward, so you're not hanging in the groin, but strengthening the bottom of your pelvis. I can have a tendency to let my shoulders seek towards the ears. If you have a tendency to do the same, make sure your shoulders are pulling away from your ears. Final inhale and exhale your hands on the inside of the left foot and coming into that ninja squat. Bringing your right toes towards the sky. Maybe bringing the left heel towards the mat. And if you feel you can balance here, bring your hands into Anjali Mudra in front of your heart space. The final visualization of red energy, focusing on the balance of our root chakra. Before we are in a moment, continue to the second chakra, the Sacral Chakra. Final inhale, just make yourself long, top of your head seeking towards the sky. And exhale your hands to the floor, bring your right knee to the ground and step your left knee back beside the right knee. Coming into tabletop and going straight to cow pose. So bringing, rounding the stomach towards the abdomen, towards the mat. Wrist in line with the shoulders, knees in line with the hips. Just opening the chest, looking straight ahead, not overextending. So not looking towards the sky. Again, if you feel it's more comfortable, you can tuck your toes or have them flat against the mat. Moving in to the Sacral Chakra. I'd like you now to focus your breath and the space between your genitals and your belly button. I'd like you to visualize the flow of orange energy. So this chakra is connected to your emotions, your sensuality, and your creativity. And when blocked, you can either be very emotional or be totally numb or closed off. You can become dependent or overindulgent. Let's see if we can have this, or through a couple of poses, get this chakra in balance. Create better conditions for the flow of orange energy. From cow, final inhale and exhale, just round your body, do your Camel Pose in cat, which is not part of the takeoff, but we will just do a nice counter pose. Now we're going to move to frog. You really have to take care of your knees. We're spreading your knees out so they're getting outside of the long edge of your mat. So you can easily slide your knees out on the floor beside you. And somehow, inner thighs will open up. Maybe you want to come to your elbows. Just feel the stretch on the inside of your thighs. Just relax your feet against the floor, making that 90-degree angle with both your knees. Hips in line with your knees so you're not falling forward or backwards. Frog pose. Quite a strong pose. See if you can close your eyes for a second. Just bring that orange energy back, especially to the space between your genitals and your belly button. Breathe your way all the way to that space. On your next inhale, walk your hands underneath you and bring your knees back so you're in tabletop. Straight away, bring your right leg out in front of you, heel pointed towards the mat. Maybe you can slide your heel out in front of you so your left hip is still in line with the left knee. Coming into runner's stretch. It can be quite hard on your hamstrings. Chest is pushing forward and downwards. Maybe you're on the tip of your fingers, or maybe your hands can be flat towards the mat. Whatever, just focus on your right toes, seeking towards the skies. That will be the cat's little Caesar for stretching your hamstrings. And still come back to that sacral chakra. Focus your breath, the space between your genitals and your belly button. Flow of orange energy. Final inhale, on the exhale, slide your right heel back so you come to sit on the back of your mat. And your left leg will automatically be bent so the left heel is on the outside of the right buttock. If not, just align it. And then bring your right foot on the outside of the left bended knee, coming into that seated spinal twist. Inhaling your arms towards the sky. Exhale the right hand down behind you to just really help you align that spine. One more inhale, pulling that left hand towards the sky, then exhaling the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Creating a stop sign with your left hand. Inhaling your spine with the help of your right hand. Inhale your spine long and exhale, look over your right shoulder, maybe all the way to the left side. Twisting your spine. So on every inhale, you pull upwards, and on every exhale, you rotate even further, just ever so slightly towards the left. And see how far your eyes go. Because where your eyes go, your body will follow eventually. Creating that tension between the left elbow and the right knee. Still focusing on the Sacral Chakra. And orange energy. Final inhale and exhale, unravel, bring both legs out in front of you. Just bring your buttocks out to each side so you can really feel the sit bones in your mat. Inhale your arms towards the sky and exhale, move your chest forward and downwards into a forward fold. Maybe your hands will grab hold of your shins, maybe on your ankles, or maybe on the outside of your feet. Seated forward fold. On every inhale, you push your chest upwards and forward, and on every exhale, see if you can pull on your feet or your ankles wherever your hand is gripped hold. Push your chest even further towards the knee. Final inhale and exhale, round your spine upwards. Bring both legs to the right side, coming back to tabletop. Again, bringing your knees out on the outer edges of the mat and coming into that front pose. Just going to show you from this side, so you can also see it from a different angle. Sliding the knees out. Making sure my hips are in line with the knees. Eventually, my hip bones, front hip bones, will touch the floor. That will create a lot of stretch on the inner thighs. Final inhale, come into tabletop. Just realign and bring the left leg forward, sliding that left heel out in runner stretch, also called half split. So we really want to extend that left leg out in front of you. Left toes are pointing. Final inhale. On the exhale, slightly left. Heel backwards. Come to seated. And the back of your mat automatically coming down. So your right heel is on the outside of your left buttock. And then bring your knee around, or your left leg around, so the left foot is on the outside of the right knee. Coming into that seated spinal twist. Inhale your arms towards the sky. Exhale the left hand down behind you, so that can be the one helping you to realign the spine. Inhale towards the sky with the right hand. Bring the right elbow on the outer edge of the left knee. Inhaling. Really feel somebody's pulling the top of your head. And exhaling. Round. Twist your spine as much as you can. Looking over that left shoulder. Maybe all the way to the right side of your room. Again, maybe you want to close your eyes. With every inhale, think of pulling your spine upwards, creating space between the vertebrae. And on every exhale, see if you can twist just a little bit more. Making a compression with the right elbow on the outside of that left knee. Again, thinking of the flow of orange energy in the space between your genitals and your belly button. Final inhale and exhale. Uncurl. Bring both legs out in front of you. Untuck that buttocks. So your sit bones get into the mat. Inhale your arms towards the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Maybe your butt is slightly warmer than before. So maybe you went from grabbing hold of the shins to grabbing hold of the ankles. Or maybe grabbing hold of the outer edges of your feet. Or maybe you can also try to grab hold with your peace fingers and your big toes. Use your arms to pull your chest forward and downwards. Forward on the inhale, downwards on the exhale. Final seated forward fold. Final pose of the Sacral Chakra. Now slowly curl upwards. And exhale, just get into that seated stick pose. Bring your both legs up to the right side and come back into tabletop. Moving into solar plexus chakra. I want you to start in cat, so just realign your knees in line with your hips, wrist in line with your shoulders, and then curl your spine as much as possible towards the sky, really creating space between your shoulder blades, pushing that mat away from you. So now in the solar plexus chakra, I'd like you to focus on the space above your belly button, the space just above your belly button, and see if you can visualize flow of yellow energy. So in this chakra, this is where your expression of will and personal power originates. Your creativity, the one that you made in the Sacral Chakra. That creativity finds direction and intention. And when out of balance, you can become overly controlling, manipulative, obsessive, or opposite, feeling helpless and irresponsible. Let's see if we can balance the solar plexus chakra. Flow of yellow energy, breathing into that space just above your belly button. On your next inhale, curl your spine all the way so you are seated on your knees and your shin. Coming into Camel Pose. See how far your body wants you to go. Inhale your arms towards the sky and see if you can exhale that right hand and then grab hold of the right heel. Inhale, extend further out on the left and do the same on the left side. Now here, maybe this is way than enough, really pushing your hips forward, chest upwards towards the sky. Or maybe you want to let your head fall backwards. Camel Pose. Still focusing on the space just above your belly button. Final inhale, bring your neck upwards so you're looking through the midline of your body. Bring your left hand on the back of your buttocks and the right. And come back with your hands in tabletop. Now coming into plank, so bring both knees away from the mat. Still shoulders in line with the wrists. Heels are pointing away, seeking away from you. Really tones the entire body. Now inhale the left knee up between your hands and bring the knee out behind the left elbow and left foot behind the right hand. Bring the right knee to the ground, coming in to pigeon, swan, and normally we would do the fallen version. But for now, we're opening up. Nice deep hip opener. Maybe your hands are really pushing away, pushing the floor away from your mat, and maybe you're on the top of your fingers. See how far you can bring your hips towards the mat. Pulling the left hip backwards and pushing the right hip forward so they come into one line. Visualizing the flow of yellow energy just above your belly button. Final inhale. Exhale, bring your hands firmly into the mat, middle finger pointing forward, and then come into a one-legged plank. Left foot hovering above the floor. Inhale and exhale your left foot up between your hands. Maybe you need to just make an extra step. It's quite all right. Inhaling, lift your upper body into high lunge, letting the right heel seat backwards and upwards. Inhale, really stretch your fingers towards the sky. Exhale, your hands into Anjali Mudra and come into twisted lunge. Bringing that right elbow on the outside of the left knee. Making sure that the right leg is straight. Maybe you want to look straight ahead, or maybe you want to look towards the sky, twisting your upper body even more. Still focusing the energy and the breath to the space just above the belly button. Final inhale, exhale your hands down, step the left foot back into high plank. Let's do that on the right side. Inhaling the right knee to the middle, towards your nose, and then turn it so the right knee is behind, right elbow, right foot behind the left wrist. Sliding down. So eventually your lower right leg will be in line with the short edge of the mat. Making sure that the left leg is pointing straight out, not pointing to either on the outside of the mat or inside, just straight ahead. Taking care of our knee. Inhaling the chest upwards. Really, maybe leaning slightly into the mat, or maybe coming to the fingertips, opening up the chest even more. Realigning the hips. So pulling the left hip away from you and pushing that right hip, no, opposite. Pulling the right hip away from you and pushing the left hip forward so they realign. You can feel when they are just in one line. Then you don't have to overdo the pulling and the pushing anymore. Visualizing the flow of yellow energy, creating that personal power in our solar plexus chakra. Placed just above the belly button area. Final inhale. Exhale, bring your hands firmly into the mat. Make middle fingers pointing out in front of you. Tuck that left toe and come into a one-legged high plank. Right foot hovering above the mat. Inhale here, just push your shoulder blades away from you. And exhale, your right foot up between your fingers, hands. Inhaling your upper body into high lunge, really extending that left heel backwards and upwards. You can feel the tilt of your pelvis when doing that little alignment. Inhale, hands towards the sky. Exhale, hands into Anjali Mudra and do the twisted lunge. Bring the left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Looking towards the sky. Make sure that left knee is strong. One line. So you're not falling and hanging in your hips. Final pose for our solar plexus chakra. Final inhale, final twist. And exhale your hands. Step your left leg or right leg out so it's in plank, knees into the mat. And we're gonna move in to the heart chakra, the fourth chakra. Inhale your right knee so it's curling in this cat pose. Spine is seeking towards the sky, head or nose towards the tip of your knee. And inhale, kick your right leg upwards so it's 90 degrees pointing towards the sky. Moving into tiger pose. This is quite a balancing pose, so really make sure that your weight is equally distributed on the right hand and the left knee. Maybe you want to tuck the left toes. Bring the left leg arm around, grabbing hold of the right foot. Now pulling out, opening up your chest. Focus on your heart space. And visualize the flow of green energy. Feel open to share and receive all the amazing love that the world has to offer. This chakra is also where the lower chakras we just went through connects with the upper chakras. It's where the earthly matters connects with your higher aspirations. Your space of giving and receiving. And when tapped into your heart space, you're open and balanced. When blocked, you might feel closed down, jealous, fear, intimacy, and place yourself in the role of the victim. Final inhale and exhale, let go. Bring your hands, your right knee into that tabletop. Let's do that on the left side. Curling the left knee in, really pushing your shoulder blades away from you. Curling into cat. Bring your nose closer to your knee. Inhale here and push your left leg upwards. So the left leg is bent 90-degree angle, sole of the foot pointing towards the sky. Again, make sure that you have an equal weight distribution now on your left hand and your right knee. Maybe you want to tuck the left toes, right toes. Bring your right arm around, grab hold of that left foot. And now push the left foot away from you. So automatically opening up your chest, stretching the front of your chest, and stretching your heart space. Visualizing the flow of green energy in the space around your heart. Close your eyes for a second. Maybe struggling with the balance. Just see if you can hold it for a few seconds more. Green energy opening up the heart chakra. Final inhale and exhale. Unravel, come into tabletop. Going straight into puppy pose. Walking your hands out in front of you, bringing your chest and your chin towards the mat. Now, if this is too hard on your neck, you can turn your head so you're lying on one ear instead of your chin. It's up to you. See if you can make sure your tailbone is seeking towards the sky. At the same time, pushing your chest, your heart space towards the mat, towards the ground. If you are on one ear, then turn your head to get on the other side as well. Making sure that we do the things equally on both sides. Puppy pose. Such a nice stretch for the spine and the shoulders. Final inhale, exhale, slide your chest forward, coming on to your belly. Bring that into the mat. Bring your hands in line with your shoulders and push up ever so slightly into cobra. Really feeling the tension of your lower spine. Don't overdo it. Feel that your lower spine is working. Maybe bringing your legs out into each other. Also creating tension and strengthening your buttocks. Cobra pose. Still visualizing the flow of green energy in your heart space. Final inhale, exhale, bring your chest towards the mat. Bring your arms out in front of you. Moving into Locust Pose. We're gonna, on the next inhale, lift the arms, the legs, as much as possible away from the floor. Really stretching the front of our body. So inhale, opening up to Locust Pose. Still focusing to breathe into the heart space. Visualizing the flow of green energy. Final inhale and exhale all the way down. Slide around, turn around. So you come from lying on your belly to lying on your back. Bring your feet into that A shape we started out. Then let each knee fall out to its own side. Automatically bring the sole of the feet together. One hand on the belly, other hand on the chest. Just close your eyes for a second. This reclined bound angle or reclined butterfly, whatever you prefer. You can adjust the stretch of your inner thighs by bringing your heels either closer to your tailbone or further away. You can just play around with that for a little bit. But at the same time, focus on your breath, inhaling deeply and exhaling completely into that heart space, nurturing the flow of green energy. Now, fourth chakra, the heart chakra. Final inhale, just bring your hands on the outside of your thighs, pushing the knees together. Gonna go to shoulder stand now. So if you know what you're doing, just go straight into it. I'm gonna guide you. But make sure you're not looking at the screen because you really want to take care of your neck. So looking just towards the ceiling. Inhale, swing your legs upwards, maybe over your head. Then you can walk your elbows closer together, shoulder blades closer together. Hands up. I like if you were putting your hands in your back pockets of your jeans. So fingertips pointing towards the sky, supporting that lower part of the back. And then bring your toes towards the sky, stretching those legs out, creating one line from your heels to your hips, to your shoulders. Eventually, hips will be in line with the shoulders. Just close your eyes here in shoulder stand. Trying to push your elbows closer together, walking your hips more in line with your shoulders. At the same time, focus your breath on the area of your throat, visualizing light blue energy. Feel strong and true. And then think of how you wish to best express your truth to the world, both verbally and non-verbally. So this chakra directly affects the neck, the mouth, and the shoulders. It regulates the metabolism, the body energy, and the growth. It's the space to bring ideas into reality. And when it's out of balance, you may become overly chatty or lack ability the ability to be a good listener. You may gossip about other people or become verbally aggressive and mean. Or opposite, have a voice trembling with insecurity. Now from shoulder stand, just let your feet fall behind your head. Maybe they will touch the ground behind you. Maybe not. If your feet are touching, you can let your hand rest on the mat. If not, make sure your hands are still supporting your lower back. Taking care of your neck at the same time. Breathing that flow of light blue energy into your throat chakra. Plow pose, this one. Really feel the compression in the front of your neck. We will open it up in just a second. If your toes are touching the ground, the floor behind you, you might slide your toes out so it's the top of your feet touching the ground, not the tip of your toes. Make sure your legs are straight. Final inhale and exhale your legs towards the sky, just coming in shortly into that shoulder stand. Our lovely anti-aging pose. One more inhale, and on the exhale, slide your hands down by your buttock, by your back of your thighs, automatically bringing your vertebrae one by one into the mat. Legs straight out in front of you, and just coming into that seated pose. We're gonna go into very nice counter pose, fish pose. Make a diamond shape with your hands on the lower part of your back, or just below your lower part by the sacrum. Flatten out those hands. Now bring your elbows together. So your elbows land firmly in the mat. You can slide your body over so your hands are more just on the top part of your buttocks than on your sacrum. Push your chest upwards. So really not hanging in your shoulders, but chest upwards. And then just let your neck fall heavy behind you. Fish pose. Nice stretch for the neck. No more compression. And like a fish, open your mouth in that O shape, creating small bubbles in the air. Still focusing on the area of your throat and visualizing the flow of light blue energy. pushing your chest towards the sky. So avoid to hang in your shoulders. Toes are pointing opposite. Inhale, look towards the midline of your body. Come up to seated. Bring your legs around and come in to a wide-legged seated. So you're sitting down on your heels, or maybe slightly on your heels. If you have issues with your knees, maybe you want to put a blanket or a pillow in the space between your heels and your buttocks, bringing you a little higher towards the sky. You can place your hands with fingers pointing away from you, or maybe opening up so the fingers are pointing inwards, up to you. Now we're going to go into lion breath. Some of you that tried some of my classes might know it. So we've been inhaling and exhaling up until now through the nose. Now we're going to exhale through the mouth. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. When on the exhale, you really open your mouth wide open and stick out your thumb like you were roaring like a lion. So inhale with me and exhale, stick out your thumb. One more time. One more time. Come in, bring your knees together and bring your chest forward, forehead to the floor, arms out in front of you. Child's pose. This will be the first pose of the 6th chakra, the third eye chakra. So in child's pose, focus on the area between your eyebrows. If your face is really flat on the mat, you might be able to slightly massage that area. And when focusing on the area of the third eye, the space between your eyebrows, visualize blue energy flowing through it. This area is connected with our greater consciousness. You tune into your intuition and connection to your higher self. Feel strong in your future and your ability to create. And when this area is blocked, you may feel stuck in one day just catching the other, so that hamster wheel, or have very little positive outlook of what the future holds. So let's see if we, through a couple of poses, can balance this third eye. Inhale, curl vertebra for vertebra up to seated. Bring your hands in. So left hand is underneath the right. Both palms are pointing towards the sky. And your thumbs, the tip of your thumbs are touching each other. Hero pose. Gonna come back to this a couple of times throughout the next couple of poses. Still focusing on our third eye, the flow of blue energy. Come into tabletop and straight away step into plank. Inhale here, push your chest forward, bend down in chaturanga, flip your toes, your feet, and push your chest forward and upwards into upward facing dog. Also one of the poses focusing on the third eye chakra. Maybe you want to, normally we're really flowing fast through these poses. Maybe you want to align your shoulders in line with the wrist, hips seeking towards the floor, but the legs are hovering above the mat. Chest is forward, shoulders away from the ears. Final inhale, exhale, flip your feet, push your tailbone towards the sky, downward facing dog, but moving into Dolphin Pose straight away. Bend your elbows, maybe one at a time, maybe at the same time. Bring your elbows into the mat, so your chest and your head seeks further towards the mat, but still focus on bringing your tailbone towards the sky. Dolphin Pose. Really nice pose to calm the brain, relieve headache, back pain, and fatigue. And close your eyes here. Focus on that space between your third eye. The flow of blue energy. Make sure you're not hanging in your shoulders, so really pushing the mat away with your elbows, your hands, your forearms. Final inhale here, exhale your knees to the ground. Come back into hero, sitting back on your heels, palms towards the sky, in front of you in your lap, and the tip of your thumbs closing together. And just close your eyes here for a second. And final focus on the flow of blue energy. Final pose for our third eye chakra before we move in to the crown chakra, the seventh chakra. So blink open your eyes if your eyes were closed. I'm just going to show you how to go into rapid pose. So bringing your forehead and the top of your head automatically coming towards the mat. Hips are seeking towards the sky. Then grab hold of the heels with each hand, pulling on your heels while at the same time pushing your hips towards the sky, creating a nice stretch on the back of your shoulder blades, but also creating pressure on the top of your head. So if you're not in rapid pose already, bring your top of your head towards the mat. Maybe if you can't grab hold of your heels, you want to move your knees a little slightly closer to your forehead. Bringing your hips towards the sky, pulling on the heels at the same time. And close your eyes. This is rapid pose. You won't stay for long, it's quite a hard one. But focus on the top of your head and visualize the color either purple or white, feeling the connection you have to the universal powers, the limitless powers of the universe. This chakra is the gateway for spiritual wisdom and the universal energy. And if blocked, you might feel disconnected and isolated. Final inhale, exhale, come into hero pose. One more time, I'm just going to demonstrate even stronger pressure on the top of our head. The tripod headstand or tripod headstand preparation, whatever you prefer and what you use to in your practice. So hands in front of you, shoulder width apart, and we want to create an equally long sided triangle. So bringing your forehead so you can still see between your hands, see your hands. Creating a 90-degree angle with your elbows. Now bring your hips towards the sky. Maybe this is more than enough. Then stay here. Maybe you want to walk your knees closer to your elbows. Maybe bringing one knee, the other to the top of your elbows. And if it's in your practice, you can straighten out your legs, coming all the way into tripod headstand. So let's do this together. Hands out in front of you, fingers widely spread, shoulder distance apart. Top of your head, the really soft part of the top of your head, on the mat in front of you, creating that equally long triangle, so each side is equally long. And now lift your hips towards the sky. Maybe this is more than enough. Maybe you want to walk your knees closer to your elbows. Maybe lifting one knee and one foot off the mat. Maybe lifting the other knee on your elbow and lifting that foot off the mat. Maybe both at one time. And you can probably feel the pressure on the top of your head even more. If it's in your practice, you can straighten your legs towards the sky, coming into the full tripod headstand. Visualizing the flow of either white or purple energy in this crown chakra, really putting pressure on the top of our head, our crown. Final inhale and come back. Child's pose. Still focusing on the top of our head. Inhaling one arm, so sliding still in that child's pose fold, sliding the right arm underneath the left armpit, coming closer with your right ear towards the mat. And revolve child's pose. Maybe your hips or your buttocks will lift away from your heels. See if they can slide back as they were in your normal child's pose. Final inhale, let's do that on the left side. So sliding your left arm underneath your right armpit, bring the left ear towards the mat. And then sliding your hips back, closer to your heels as they were before. Final inhale. Slide your left arm out, roll your chest forward all the way, so you get all the way to lying on your mat with your belly, and then just roll around, maybe slide your arms out in front of you and roll around. Sliding yourself back into the mat. If you ended up on the floor, coming into Shavasana, our final pose. Feet are falling out, legs are heavy, hips are heavy, spine is curled towards the mat, but without forcing it. Shoulder blades and shoulders heavily in the mat, arms open away from the upper body, and making better conditions for your body to relax, palms towards the sky. And then see if you can still focus on the top of your head, the crown chakra, which is what we touch upon in that Shavasana. Reminding us that the energy is always here for you to tap into. Connecting body, mind, and soul. Breathing into the crown chakra. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, wakening the body from this short Shavasana. Stretch your arms above the head, stretching one side at a time. Bring the knees in line with your hips and let them fall out to the right side, and curling all the way on your right side into fetal position. Just land here before you, with the help of your left hand, still with your eyes closed. Push yourself up to seated, coming back to where we started 75 minutes ago. Bringing your hands into Anjali Mudra, front of your heart space, eyes closed. I just want to finalize this practice with a little Buddha quote to you. So bring your hands, palms still together, to your third eye, that space between your eyebrows, to encourage thoughts of love and kindness to your lips. May you have the courage to speak words of truth when kind and necessary, to your heart space, reminding us to act with love and compassion from the heart. Thank you for joining. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Namaste.